that advertise as
Restaurants.
handicap accessible are really not very accessible for people in your condition?
No, you can't.
Okay.
How can you?
Okay, let us.
And there's more people through the war that are losing legs,
All right,
and you're not helping them.
yeah. Well, thank you.
You're talking about creating work for the people in the United States. You'll create plumbers, masons, and everything else to build.
Gotcha. Thank you. And we'll get that answer from the Justice Department for you, and we'll see what we can hopefully get you a better answer than you see. We'll get the last two, Helen and the gentleman.
I left a letter with your aides. I'm from Fountain Hill, and we applied for Lehigh County.
Thank you for your service, by the way. You've been working for Fountain Hill for a long time.
Right. We applied for a grant for handicapped access curbing for a street that we're rehabilitating. And because they gave us money for a rehabilitation of a storm sewer, they refused us the grant for the handicapped access ramps, or whatever they're called, those steel plates.
Yeah.
So now they want the property owner or the borough to cough up the money and pay for it. Isn't it a federally mandated program, the ADA? So I'm appealing to you to see if you can get us some grant money. I left a letter with your aide explaining it all. So I hope you can help us out.
Is this for a, Helen, is this for a public building, or is this for a private residence?
Street, handicap.
Oh, it's for like a curb cut?
Curbing.
That's curb cuts.
The curb cuts in some instances are there, but they need the plate. So we applied, our administrator applied to the county for the next 3 years for the streets we're doing. So I wrote to you only for this coming year,
Yeah.
if we can get the money so the property owner, I am opposed to the property owner having to pay that, or the borough.
What's the cost, Helen, what's the
About
cost?
15 to 16,000 for 1 year
For 1 year, okay.
for the curbs that need to be done.
Let us take a
I
look.
left a letter with your aide.
Okay, thanks, Helen, appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Helen.
A comment and a question. The quick comment is, what I've heard about this frack drilling is they're apparently exempt from DEP regulations for this. She says, things like this just smell to me, and I should to you. I don't know if you have power to do anything. Okay, that's just a comment. Question, please explain to me, and I'll give you, please explain to me, because I'm really confused. Has GM paid us back or not, or is it just fancy footwork?
No, the federal government owns, I think, majority share of GM right now. No, the federal government has essentially a major ownership interest in both GM and Chrysler. GM had paid off a loan, but I mean, I can make a case they paid off a government loan with other government money. No, the federal government still has a principal ownership interest in GM as well as Chrysler, and that's a fact.
Do we have a realistic expectation of be paid back as taxpayers? I'm asking for your opinion.
Look, I voted against the car company takeover. I did, and I did because I was concerned about our ability to recover that money, which was taken out of the Troubled Asset Relief Program. I would also tell you too that, at least as it relates to the banks that were in the so-called TARP, much of that money has been repaid with dividend interest and warrants. The Chairman of the Federal Reserve assured me at that point that we would get the bank money back. But there's an exposure on the car companies. And certainly with Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, the two government-sponsored enterprises, we're into them up for, last I checked, $145 billion. That's where the big exposure is. The taxpayer money there, as well as on the auto companies. And believe me, I want GM and I want Chrysler to succeed. I want them to succeed. And I'm very concerned about our ability to recover that investment. And it's, maybe, touch wood, maybe we will, and I hope we do. But I think there is some exposure there. And I know there was a press release put out a few months back about how GM had paid off a loan. Well, it was a little devious. I mean, it was really a government loan paid off in many respects with other government money.
GM is hoping to do the bond issue to pay off the rest of it, I think.
I hope they do.
That's the last I heard.
Yeah, thanks, Helen. Mr. H.
I just want to make a comment, sir. 2 days ago, they announced that General Motors, which is owned by 61% of the taxpayers in this country